Hi, I'm Sean, and welcome to Creating Compelling Web Video. In this series, we're taking a look at how to create web video that stands out from the pack so you can get noticed. In this episode, we're going to start the process of editing your footage together, and we'll show you a few tips that will make the final video even better. Now, we've all seen videos on YouTube that just go on and on, feature false starts and redos, and just generally don't have any polish to them. That's why it's important to edit your video first. You give the viewer a smooth experience, and you don't waste their time with sections where nothing much is happening on screen. If you have a computer, you probably have access to free editing software. If you're on a Windows machine, your machine may already have Windows Live Movie Maker installed. If not, you can download it for free from Microsoft. If you're on a newer Mac, the iMovie app should already be installed on your machine. Both of these programs provide reasonably good ability to edit your clips and add titles and effects. If you want to do some fancier editing down the road, there are a few other programs available for intermediate to pro users, but they're not strictly necessary to get started. No matter which of these methods you've chosen, they give you the ability to choose clips, trim them down to only the parts you need, and then edit them together with simple, or flashy, transitions. All of these clips get laid into something called the timeline. You can move these items around in the timeline and trim them if necessary. One thing you probably want to do is add a title to the beginning of the video so it's clear what the video is about, and to make sure you add captions to identify yourself or anything you might be showing off. This adds a bit of polish that most videos don't have. If you want to add a bit of extra oomph, you can even add background music. Just make sure you keep the volume low enough so that it doesn't blot out everything else in the video. In the previous parts of this series, we talked about shooting tips, and one of them was to give yourself a short buffer between pressing the record button and starting the action. Likewise, after you finish the section you want to record, wait a few seconds before pressing stop. The reason this is important is because it allows you to use transitions between two shots, which can also add to the overall polish of your video. Whether you use a basic dissolve or something like a cube spin, your editing software requires a short portion of video footage to accomplish the effect. If you have no extra footage at either end of your clip, there may not be enough video to use a transition effect. That could mean you'll end up cutting off the end of the previous clip or the beginning of the next clip in order to accommodate the transition, which is obviously not ideal. Sometimes you might find that you have to cut something out of a clip, but when you edit things back together, you wind up with a quick jump in the action known as a jump cut. While a lot of places are using this as a stylistic thing these days, it can have a really ugly or jarring effect because it's a bit disorienting. One way to avoid jump cuts in your final footage is to cover up the cut with a bit of extra footage, also known as B-roll. So, for example, if you have a speaker talking about gardening, you can put in a video clip shot in the garden over top of the spot where the edit occurs. That said, it's important not to try to jam too much into your video. While B-roll can be a fantastic tool for illustrating what you're talking about on screen, adding more isn't always better. By adding too many video clips and transitions, you can end up with a video that's overloaded and junky looking. Sometimes a better video is one where things are left out. Once you're done compiling all of your clips and editing them together, you want to export them into a clip that you can share with your friends. We'll talk more about sharing your movies in the next part of the series.